There is now a major update on Nicolas Raskin's future at Rangers, with growing indications that the Belgian midfielder could be heading for the exit before the transfer window closes. Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Raskin has established himself as one of Rangers' most important players over recent seasons, and his performances at the World Cup for Belgium have only increased the attention surrounding him. A number of clubs across Europe have been monitoring his situation, but so far, Rangers' valuation has been enough to prevent a serious move from materializing. However, that situation could be about to change dramatically. Former Manchester United chief scout Mick Brown has claimed that Raskin is still expected to leave Rangers this summer, with the final stages of the transfer window potentially proving decisive. According to Brown, clubs who have been watching the midfielder without making an offer could now step up their interest as deadline day approaches. And there is one particularly important development for Rangers supporters to keep an eye on. Raskin will enter the final year of his Rangers contract next summer, meaning the club could be approaching their final opportunity to command a significant transfer fee for the 25-year-old. Reports suggest Rangers could therefore lower their asking price in the closing stages of the window in an attempt to encourage interested clubs to make a formal move. That could open the door to a late transfer, with deadline day traditionally bringing plenty of unexpected activity, as clubs assess their squads and make last-minute decisions. Brown believes this could be exactly what happens with Raskin, with Premier League and European clubs already having an interest in the midfielder. The list of potential destinations is certainly extensive. Villarreal and Real Betis have been linked from Spain, while Roma, Atalanta and Bologna have reportedly been monitoring him in Italy. Fenerbahce and Besiktas have also shown interest, while several Premier League sides have kept tabs on his development. Hull City's interest is perhaps the most significant of all. They reportedly had a £14 million bid rejected earlier this summer, but with Rangers potentially becoming more flexible over their valuation, another offer cannot be ruled out. Leeds United, Manchester United and Tottenham have also been linked with Raskin, meaning there could be no shortage of suitors if the midfielder becomes available at a more attractive price. For Raskin himself, there is also a clear motivation to make the move. Reports have previously suggested that he wants to test himself in one of Europe's top leagues, and with interest continuing to build, the opportunity could finally arrive. The big question now is whether Rangers can convince him to stay, or whether the club ultimately decides that selling this summer is the smartest financial decision. With the transfer deadline rapidly approaching, Raskin's future is becoming one of the major Rangers stories to watch. If a club decides to make a serious move late in the window, things could develop very quickly, and Rangers may have a huge decision to make. Before we get into our next story, if you are enjoying today's video and you would like to see more and stay updated with the latest Rangers news, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. Thank you, let's get back into the video. There has finally been a major update on the Cody Gakpo situation, and this time the Rangers target himself has revealed exactly what happened behind the scenes. The proposed £7 million move to Rangers collapsed after concerns were raised during Gakpo's medical, with the Ibrox club ultimately deciding against completing the deal after being told the winger could be sidelined for several weeks. But while Rangers walked away, Gakpo has now returned to training with PSV, and his first comments have shed new light on why the transfer fell apart. Speaking to ESPN, the 24-year-old admitted that the whole situation was a roller coaster of emotions and revealed that there was actually a disagreement between the medical teams involved. Gakpo explained that he had suffered a small tear in his thigh, which he believes was made worse after taking a knock to his knee. That knock subsequently developed into a hematoma, and that appears to be at the heart of the disagreement. From Rangers' perspective, the concern was that the injury could prevent Driewisch from making an immediate impact. With the club unwilling to take that risk on a £7 million signing, the deal collapsed, despite the player already mentally preparing for life in Glasgow. That is perhaps the most intriguing part of this entire story. Driewisch admitted that he had already pictured himself wearing the Rangers shirt and considered the move a major step in his career. So, from the player's perspective, to get so close to completing the transfer, only for it to disappear because of a medical disagreement, must have been incredibly frustrating. And his response to the situation was brutally honest. He simply said, "It sucks." However, there is an interesting twist. Driewisch is now back on the pitch with PSV and insists that he feels good, suggesting that the injury concerns which ultimately ended the Rangers deal may not be as serious as initially feared. Of course, that does not necessarily mean Rangers made the wrong decision. The club had to protect itself financially and medically, particularly when they believed the player could be unavailable for several weeks. But it does give us a much clearer picture of why this transfer collapsed. This was not simply a case of Rangers losing interest or PSV refusing to sell. Instead, it appears the medical assessment became the decisive factor, with a disagreement between doctors ultimately leaving Rangers unwilling to proceed. Now, with the transfer window rapidly approaching its conclusion, the big question is whether another club will take the gamble on Driewisch. For his part though, the winger is not dwelling on what happened. He says he is happy to remain at PSV and will simply wait to see whether another opportunity presents itself. So, Rangers fans now know much more about what really happened. And incredibly, the player at the centre of the failed transfer has essentially confirmed that a medical disagreement was the reason the £7 million move fell apart. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.